From the NewsChannel 5 network, this is Open Line.
Well, good evening and welcome into Open Line. I'm Chuck Long and glad to be along with you for this next hour. It's an important hour. This is our Ask an Attorney. It is the time when we get to ask the expert, and that is Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. And I know a lot of you out there, you watch us on a regular basis, and when Kevin's on, you get the phones going crazy because, I mean, we certainly understand too. You have a lot of those legal questions. You don't know where to turn. You don't know who to turn to. And often you just think, if I could just talk to that right attorney who is trustworthy, who's dependable, who knows what he's talking about, who's been in the business for a long time, well, that's everything with Kevin wrapped into one. So we're going to say hello to Kevin Kennedy right now. So good evening, Kevin. How are you, bud? Good to see you.
I am great. It is so good to see you. You're smiling. Here we are in October. Things are looking up, so we're going to keep on trucking, and I'm delighted to be with you tonight.
Well, as always, Kevin, like I said, when you're here, our phones just go crazy because a lot of people, not only do they just want some legal advice, but they want the legal advice that they can depend on, that they can trust. And, you know, I always tell people, I mean, you guys been in business, the Kennedy Law Firm, over 35 years, and that says a lot. You've got a team of people who can go from, you know, A to Z as far as where the law goes, and that says a lot.
Well, even today, Chuck, we had a problem come up, and so I was walking down the hall. My brother was there. He's a lawyer with me. One of my smartest litigators is there, and then I had a young lawyer, 5 years experience. I said, everybody stop. Now listen to this. And so then I said, your opinion, your opinion, your opinion. And when you get several opinions and we all agree, then you go with it. And, it helps us, Chuck, just to discuss it out loud because your own mind is analyzing it. It's doing, this is right, this is wrong. And you try to spark the creative part of your brain. And over the years, you've got the analytical, I can analyze this, but where is the creativity? And that's where you'll find many answers and many options.
Well, and for those watching, too, if you're just tuning in, maybe this is your first time to watch Open Line and watch the Ask an Expert, Ask the Attorney tonight with Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. But what you need to do is when you have that question or even a comment, get on the line with us. Our phones get very busy, so we want to get you on as quickly as we can. And the number is 737-7587. It's right there on your screen, 737-7587. And, Kevin, the other thing that I think we find a lot of times when someone asks a question, obviously it's personally for them or their family or a friend, yes. But the viewers benefit because so many people say, oh, I was just thinking about that. I was wondering about that. And that's another thing that we love about this.
As I make preparation to ride in, of course, we never know who's going to call or what kind of question it is. But even when I go home, these ideas are continuing, and you'll catch me sometime, pull over and write down because something came in my mind during this show. And so I love to do this. I love to share. We do make a difference. The more you know, the more you'll grow, the more you discuss. And remember this, Chuck, you have to protect your own rights. You have to protect your children. You have to protect your family members. So if it's something that you learned and it's making you feel uncomfortable, I do it. I really think it's one of the secrets of the Kennedy Law Firm. We identify an issue and then we discuss it. And when you get several good ideas, you're moving forward and we feel good. And if everybody's in disagreement, I do not move on that advice, and I tell you not to move on that advice.
Well, and Kevin, I know even personally, like even something like planning a will, your estate planning, things like this, you get to looking at how I'm going to do that. The law is very complicated. The verbiage is very complicated. The legalese is very complicated, and sometimes it just seems almost overwhelming. And that's why it helps to talk to an expert like yourself.
Chuck, one of the things that was confronted here at the office within the last couple of weeks where we had someone who was killed and they had a small child. Well, what are you going to do? Family members are coming in from out of town. You got two families that are getting ready to converge on this child. Everybody wants the child. Everybody wants to protect the child. So what do? I'm telling you, there's a lot to be said. The early bird gets who files first, Chuck. Who calls first? And, we see so much of the time, even in a car wreck, motorcycle, we have both sides call us because one's trying to get to us before the other one. So And I think that's great advice. If we were involved in something tonight, we're going to move and try to get to the lawyers as fast as we can so we can protect ourselves.
Absolutely. So if you are just tuning in, you do have that question, you do have that comment, make sure you get on the line with us. It is Open Line. 737-7587 is the number to call. We're going to go right to our first caller tonight. Deborah is joining us. Deborah, we're glad that you're here with us on Open Line. Do you have a question for Kevin?
Yes, I do. So I had some work done by a company, and the company didn't do what they were supposed to. So I only paid them a portion of what they asked, and they are suing me for the rest of it. We went to court, and I explained everything to their attorney, and then she actually ended up asking me, after I showed her pictures of the damage that was left, what I thought they owed me. And so the judge said we need to go back to court, and I need to get an attorney. And my question is, I don't know who to call, what kind of attorney to call for this, because the ones I called didn't want to help me.
Right. Well, what you've got is a construction problem, and I feel sorry for you. We are seeing tons of people. When the economy goes bad, it makes good people do bad things. So this is running rampant. People will take your money, say they're going to do construction work, and then they don't do it. People will take your money, they'll have you sign a contract, and then they do part of the work, but it's not up to standards, and then they try to bully you. So the words of the wise is do your very best not to pay until you watch the quality of the material and the quality of the workmanship. Now, whenever you get into a lawsuit, you're in damage control. What does that mean? I'm going to get a lawyer. We've made one mistake. Not having a lawyer is making two mistakes. And a really skilled lawyer early on could say, guys, okay, y'all can sue her, and you have. And I'm going to give you about 48 hours to take a non-suit and dismiss your case, because y'all have ripped her off, and she's going to turn right around and she's going to light you up. We probably would be able to sue them under probably the Tennessee Consumer Affairs. And that one of the problems with that is it's treble damages. So if they got me for $6,000 when we got finished with them, they owe treble damages. That means 3 times. And if their work is so egregious, we might even pursue punitive damages. And listen to this. One other thing. If a guy comes in and says, I'm going to build your garage for $60,000, and you say pay, and he never comes back, that's a criminal offense. And you can go to the district attorney and file criminal charges. Well, why do you do that? Well, the truth is it's a crime against the state, not just a crime against you. And you can ask for restitution. If I were representing a contractor and he'd rip someone off, I'd say, dude, you better be getting your money together, or you'll be a convicted felon before we can get away from this. So keep pursuing. You might even look on and Google contractor lawyers, lawyers who do contract, lawyers who do real estate, construction, and that's where I'd start. Most of the lawyers are free initial consultation, chit-chat with them, but I do want you to hire one. They're worth their money, because like I said, sometimes all they got to do is say, look at the facts, and the other side will negotiate and get away.
All right, very, very helpful. Deborah, we appreciate you kicking the show off with that question. Very helpful. We're going right back to the phone lines right now. Vanita is on the line with us. So, Vanita, good evening. We're glad that you're joining us here on Open Line. What is your question for Kevin? Can you hear us,
Hello?
Vanita? Yes.
Yes, I have a question. I was in a car accident, but the police report said I was at fault for an illegal U-turn. However, I still sustained injuries after this car accident. I was wondering if I could just go back and sue the trucking company.
As long as you're within your 1-year statute of limitations, you can. Now, let me explain this to you again. One of the most important things is get your accident report immediately, because they do make mistakes. And so you contact the police officer and say, you've written the report wrong. I was stopped and they ran in the back end of it. You have me turning and having the accident. That's not how. And so sometimes they file an amendment and correct the accident report. So what does it really mean? Move fast. Don't sit on your rights. Explain it. And, you're all the time when you're involved, document. You're really not supposed to move the cars after a wreck, but if it's heavy traffic, you have to move the cars. But you take your pictures, you get your names. If there's witnesses, try to gather. One of the secrets of the Kennedy Law Firm has been over the years getting witnesses. We bring in more witnesses. There's nothing like an eyewitness to advance your cause or to stop the other side in their tracks. They can't move forward because the evidence is so powerful. That was one of my strong points at the law school. I taught my law class in the field of evidence. Remember this, direct evidence is really powerful. An eyewitness will knock a home run. There's hearsay, and there's about 100 exceptions to hearsay. So those evidentiary problems can make you or break you. So you keep pursuing, try to get you a lawyer, and if you go past the year, it's over. Statute of limitations, you're barred.
And Kevin, kind of springboarding from that particular question from Vanita, if you are in an accident, and I know obviously accidents, they're going to shake you up, even a minor accident, it always does. But so how important is it, even when you're talking to the police or talking to the other person involved in the accident, to also look around for the witnesses and say, hey, I need to get your name and get your number if you saw something? How important is that?
Yes, absolutely. We take a proactive approach. That's why you're being trained. In the split second, you're on it. So when it hits, we're all stunned. If we're able to do anything, say, what's your name? And then I have people record them. How do you spell your name? Chuck Long. Where do you live? So they've got it. And did you see? Remember this. They get out and did you see the guy running the back? He said, I did. Oh, thank you so much and help. Because so many people are not trained, and the trained people take advantage of them. And they'll manipulate the facts to try to say, no, that's not how it happened. And the insurance companies, their agenda is to not pay a claim. So if you jam it up and then it's not clear, then it makes it even harder on your lawyer to try to get it settled and recovered. So the better job you do, the quicker your lawyer can get it over with, and with a lot less agony. If we file suit, you're going to probably have to do doctor's depositions. That's money. You're going to have to pay court reporters. That's money. Now, we do it every day, but if you put us on the high ground at the start, then we usually don't ever get that far.
All right, good to know. And Vanita, thank you so much for the question. We are going to take a break. We've got a lot of you on the line with us, and we'll get to those questions right after this. You're watching Open Line.